Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to show how we use the greenhouse for spring season. We got this small greenhouse, 6 by 8 from Hub Fry Tool. It was in a small package that we can take it home with our Mini Cooper. It did take some time to put it up. We have been using it for the last 2 winters. In winter, we mainly use it to host some of our tropical bonsai trees. In spring, the greenhouse come into handy in terms of preparing seedlings and sprouting or cuttings for summer crop. So I will show you what we had in the greenhouse in winter and what we have now in the greenhouse to prepare for summer crop. Here are a few plants that were in a greenhouse, and now the weather is warm enough so they can come out. This is just a sample. Another big collection is our jade tree bonsai. So these are the jade trees that was in the greenhouse during winter. Most of them are in the bonsai form, and I actually just learned that these trees are really good for carbon sequestration. They're actually a movement to plant jade tree per household. One jade plant can offset a lot of carbon footprint that we produce. My plan actually is take some of these in the farm and use it as under storage and chop and drop plant. The reason is because these guys actually can store lots of water in the leaves and in the branches. You can see that they are very plump now because of the moist, so they suck up all the moist. And in summer, you actually don't even need to water them. So I'm thinking is I'm going to try use this as a water storage plant so that in summer I can chop some of them and get water from them for the plants. So that will be an experiment that we will do. What I have here is Thai pepper plant that survived the winter, pepper cutting that I got from the fall, and a pineapple tree that we grown from the top of the pineapple that we ate. This is a Thai pepper tree that volunteered last summer, I believe, and we just leave it in this big bucket and kept it in the greenhouse through winter. We got this pepper. We still have a few pepper left. I've been harvesting them once in a while in winter for cooking. There were no leaves over here. We just have these two branches, and this branch was pretty miserable. But now you can actually see that all these are new sprouts from this year, and they are just start to sprouting out. Down here, actually under the pepper tree, we have some lychee growing from seeds from last year. I believe this one actually has been growing for 2 years. They didn't grow a whole lot, This is probably the healthiest one I got, and I can see that they have new buds forming already. So that means they're going to start to grow. I probably will pot it in a different pot when the weather is a little bit warmer, and hopefully we'll get some lychee tree going. Over here, there's actually a squash plant that just popped out like last week, and I have no idea what kind of squash it is. It was probably just some seeds that are in the compost. I probably will dig it out and plant it. And there are some pepper look like sprouted, but that probably, I would guess, is the Thai pepper that some of the pepper dried up and fall in here and start to sprout. So here is an experiment I was doing last fall, like before the freeze. I cut a pepper plant and stick it in the ground and see if it will survive through the winter in the greenhouse. It was like a stick through winter, but the bark was green, so that indicated it was alive. And then just maybe 2 weeks ago, it started to sprout out the leaves, and now actually have 2 flower buds. I don't remember what kind of pepper this is, but that was a successful experiment. So this fall, I'm actually going to cut a bunch of the pepper stick and put in a pot and leave it in the greenhouse for winter. And hopefully early spring, I will get pepper plants out of it, just like this one. That will speed up to the process. Instead of growing the pepper from seeds, we can actually growing pepper from the cuttings and get pepper much earlier than you would get from growing from the seeds. Over here is actually we have quite a few of them. Is the pineapples that we grow from the top of a pineapple. Basically, we have when you buy the pineapple from the grocery store, you have a pineapple with some green on top. We just cut that off. Of course, we ate the pineapple, but we saved the top and planted it in the ground, and that's what we got is a new pineapple tree. They were, of course, they're tropical, so they were in the greenhouse in winter, and now the weather is warm enough for them to stay outside. All the winter plants that in the greenhouse can be moved out now. So I'm going to show you what I still have in the greenhouse. I'm inside the greenhouse. The winter plants are out of the greenhouse, but I still have quite a few plants here. These plants are mostly kind of tropical, or they like warm weather, and they need a little bit of babying. So that's why they are here. The first thing I want to show is this sweet potato vine, and also the Xin Cai. These are our main staple for the summer vegetables, because over here the summer is so hot. Most of the green vegetables will not grow, but sweet potato loves heat, and the Xin Cai loves heat also. What we used to do is to wait for another month or so, and we got the sweet potato vine and the Xin Cai from the grocery store, and then save the stems and then plant them in the ground. And so that means probably we will be able to harvest them by maybe June time frame. So again, an experiment I did last fall is took some sweet potato vines and the Xin Cai root before the freeze hit, and put it in a pot, and then put it in the greenhouse. They were miserable through the winter, but now they start to really shoot out. This probably was, in 1 week they grew maybe 6, 7 inches. But if I take them out now, they will become miserable again. The Xin Cai might rot when we get lots of rain. So I'm going to leave it in the greenhouse, and then I will get cuttings from them when the weather is nice, and then put them out. Since we have enough room in the greenhouse, I might actually just get cuttings and let them grow in the greenhouse. Especially for this year, anything that we can grow and harvest, that will reduce our time to go to the grocery and reduce our chance of getting exposed to the virus. This is a jackfruit and also the lychee that plant we have. So that's a jackfruit. I had this avocado pit that was in the compost of that I used to plant the sweet potato and the Xin Cai. And this one actually start to sprout it. So we will get avocado plant, and of course that is also tropical. So I keep them in a greenhouse for a while. Here is a plant that we ate a lot, but it's the first time I'm planting it. That is the chayote. It's if you know, it's kind of like a green fruit, apple looking, but you cook with it. So I put them, I buried an entire chayote in the soil here, and then left it in the greenhouse for maybe 2 weeks. And then now I can see it start to sprout out. This is a native plant, a Texas plant, so it will like the heat a lot over here. And you can, I like the chayote fruit, but also I heard that the leaves is also edible, but I haven't had that. Here is sweet potato. This is the purple yam that I like, and it's from last year. So I'm actually put it in the water and leave it in the greenhouse. It's like warm temperature, like heat. So hopefully in the greenhouse, they will get the sleeps faster than outside. Another thing that I should keep in the greenhouse now is, for example, ginger. Ginger, again, is a heat-loving plant. If I put them out now, it might rot because the soil temperature is not high enough. Taro roots, that it's good to grow them in the greenhouse in spring for a while until the temperature get really hot. This is dragon fruit that I grown from seeds last year. The first year I heard that they grow very slowly, and then they take off. Dragon fruit is really a very nice tropical fruit. This probably will need to be in a greenhouse in winter, definitely. So, but for now, they are very happy in the greenhouse, and again, have to wait until it's warm enough in the 90s to put them out. This is a palm tree that my boss grown from the palm nuts. He gave me 4 plants, so I put 2 outside and 2 inside to compare, inside the greenhouse to compare. If we be able to grow palm trees, then we will get our own palm nuts. This big bucket over here, this is a native Texas mulberry that I put it inside, and I put some outside as well just to compare. The inside one lived out much earlier than the outside one. I'm going to keep it inside for a while and compare the ones that I planted outside and to see what's the success rate. From what I see, I have 100% success rate for the ones in the greenhouse. The other things I have is some seedlings. So for example, in the farm, I got squashes sprouted, but I don't have pepper. The peppers hasn't sprouted yet. Over here, I planted some peppers. I see a few already come out with 2 leaves. I didn't have watermelon, so these are watermelon. And what is this? That's the cantaloupe, and a bunch of peppers. bitter melon and the Chinese okra was not sprouted in the farm. I think the temperature is not high enough yet. So I put in the greenhouse. They haven't sprouted neither. I have not had much success with bitter melon and the Chinese okra, but I hope with the greenhouse, maybe it will help. I have some kumquat seeds that I harvested from the kumquat I ate, just experimenting to see if that will sprout. Again, kumquat is like heat, so that's why I grow them in the greenhouse now. Over there, I have some cuttings. This is the Arabian jasmine with that very fragrant white flowers. They can grow from cutting in summer. Last year, I got cuttings in winter and leave it in the greenhouse. This is one that really like heat. They start to leaf out now. I leave them in here for probably another few weeks before I plant them outside. So that's a quick view of what we use the greenhouse for. We use the greenhouse in winter to house the tropical plants so that they don't get killed by the freeze. And then in spring, when the temperature is high enough for the winter tropical plants to come out, then we use the greenhouse to cultivate plants that are really heat-loving, like sweet potatoes and Xin Cai, and get them going in the greenhouse through spring, and then put them out in summer so that they can enjoy the heat. We have a pretty small greenhouse. Obviously, it's only 6 by 8 feet, and for whatever it's worth, it actually serves our purpose pretty well. If you like this content, please hit the thumb up button. Have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West Farms.